Hello and welcome to another edition of the Stench of Truth. I would like to remind everybody once again, if you're interested in conspiracies, the paranormal, hidden history, secret societies, and all that sort of thing, please check out my radio show, the Stench of Truth Radio, at the InceptionRadioNetwork.com. This Friday, tomorrow, I will have as my guest Stan Gordon, well-known Pennsylvania-based paranormal investigator, an expert on UFOs and Bigfoot, also Mothman-like encounters. I also would like to let everybody know that I will be appearing on the Church of Mabus radio show along with Andy Colvin this Saturday. And I'll put links to both of those in the description box. In case you want to listen live or through the archives to me appearing on both my show and on Jeffrey Pritchett's show, the Church of Mabus radio show. We'll be talking, Andy and I will be talking about the Men in Black. And I'm wearing the Men in Black shirt. Anyway, that's that. So I wanted to make a couple of comments about things just to show you exactly how things are and where they are going, and they are going exactly according to what I said would happen. Now, I did caution before that the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act, did have some damaging provisions within it, but I thought it was being overblown. Naturally, I'll have to take that back because there is nothing that is being done within the realms of political theater that we see that is without any negative consequences. So even nebulous language is immediately suspect and should be something that puts us on our guard. So I take back my words of caution regarding the NDAA, and of course that's going to be passed. Now, it is instructive to note that once again Barry Soetoro, after having promised to veto the bill, not because of the military indefinite detention of U.S. citizens portion, which is obviously the most egregious part of it, but for other reasons altogether. And even without the bill being significantly changed to address the concerns that Barry Soetoro had with it, and his own Justice Department not being happy with the bill, the final version of the bill as it's going to be presented to him, he is nonetheless canceling his veto and going to approve it. So this is just another in a long series of outright lies and disappointments of this president. And if there are even a handful of people out there who still have that stunted dream of President Barry Soetoro doing something for them at some point ever, or even one halfway decent thing at some point during the course of his presidency, I hope that this once again shatters your illusions as to where his emphasis lies and who his real masters are. And I'll give you a clue, they're not you, unless you have lots and lots of money. So he's going to go ahead and approve that, and of course this opens up another Pandora's box. Any affiliation with supposed terrorist groups by American citizens on American soil can in fact be held by the military in indefinite detention without trial. But I need not remind people who have a significant historical perspective on this and who've done their homework that similar provisions were already enacted with the Patriot Act. The only difference with this is that this gives the military more police-like powers, thus negating more the posse comitatus that has already been completely denuded of any power in this country, or this corporate state, I should say, up to this point in time. The other issue is on the payroll tax holiday, which is a big sticking point, supposedly, in the supposed budget standoff that is going on in Washington, D.C. right now. And it was my prediction all along that the initial forays into this, by calling on the millionaires and the wealthy to chip in with some additional revenue by increasing their taxes to offset the payroll tax holiday. Obviously, I'm against the payroll tax holiday because it is a covert way to attack Social Security. Now, the initial attempts to use a higher tax as an offset for the costs of this payroll tax reduction would be completely refused by the GOP, of course, and that is quite on script. And you will see that the final outcome, the final compromise, will allow the payroll tax extension to go on, and it will not be paid for in any way except by further cutting into other social programs like Medicare or Medicaid and things of this nature, which would further erode both the fiduciary health of Social Security and other social safety net programs. And that was the final goal all along. The final goal is to hammer away at the fiscal soundness of Social Security, and what better way to do it than to lessen the amount of funding that is going in to pay for it without paying for that. And that is exactly what is going to be done. When the compromise legislation comes through, it will include some other egregious things that will attack other social safety net programs, in addition to approving the payroll tax reduction extension, and it will not be paid for, and it will cut at the very roots of some very important and vital programs of this country. And of course, Obama has been put into the position of president of the corporate states of America for the express purpose of destroying the New Deal programs and the Great Society programs of Lyndon Johnson, and to put the final nails into the coffin of the dead working class, the dead middle class American. And I stick by my prediction earlier that we will see him walking about on the campaign trail wearing a flannel shirt with his sleeves rolled up, pretending like he's a man of the people, even as he's accepting millions of dollars from financial firms in order to not prosecute anybody for any crimes, to allow them to continuously rape the American people, and to destroy the last vestiges of anything good that the corporate states of America have ever produced. And the legacy of anything great that this corporate state ever had will be completely and utterly destroyed. And he has been decided by the powers that be to preside over that destruction, because he has the perfect legend with the supposed Marxist connections, the supposed mysterious birth, the supposed maybe someone else being his father, the supposed Indonesian citizenship. All of this sets up a legend of him being a left-wing radical, a socialist, a communist, a Marxist, in order to disarm people on the left who are worried about the very kinds of social safety net programs that I warn are going to be destroyed in my videos here on YouTube. And that was so successful that the entire real active people who really believe in the causes that they support on the so-called left, who believe in community and the responsibility of the government by consent to provide for people who cannot provide for themselves. That is, to provide programs like Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and all of these things that have saved countless lives over the years. The people who actually believe in that, who actually fight for that, who are the real active left, were completely disarmed by the legend of Barack Hussein Obama, such that the entire anti-war coalition collapsed, and he was basically given carte blanche to do whatever he wanted when he got into office. And that was to begin the immediate dismantling and destruction of whatever is left of the Great Society and the New Deal. And we will see that finished. And at this point in time, I see Barack Obama / Barry Soetoro being confirmed for another 4 years as the clown show on the right by the GOP continues unabated. And it is a more egregious and ridiculous move to the right by these incredibly unbelievable candidates. They're trying to outdo each other in the idea of ludicrousness. And as they move further and further to the right, trying to become more right than the previous statement by some other candidate, and so much so that they become absolute caricatures of the worst of anything, of the most vile character that you could ever imagine in your life. It doesn't seem very likely that any of them are going to beat a rather wishy-washy man with a Marxist legend. But this is all planned and scripted, like it always has been. Everything is controlled and manipulated, and of course your vote doesn't matter. So, that's why I tell you not to vote at all. If everybody stayed home and we found out the next day that 50 million people voted for Barack Hussein Obama / Barry Soetoro, that might tell you something about the voting system in this country. So, just wanted to clarify that. The NDAA threat of veto, another slap in the face to people who actually, still, even after being betrayed and stabbed in the back so many times that there's hardly any back left, and the knife is now dull, by Obama, yet again stabbing in the back, failing to veto this monstrous bill. And the budget compromise that will extend the payroll tax deduction holiday will not be paid for except by cutting other social safety net programs, not by the addition of revenue from any other source. And this is why I oppose it, but it will be passed, and it will succeed in what it was meant to do, and that is to undermine the fiscal soundness of Social Security while trying to make it seem like the president in Washington is trying to do something to help the common man, when if, in fact, they wanted to help the common man, they could, instead of having the Federal Reserve direct trillions of dollars to bail out banks and financial institutions both here and abroad, and to prop up the euro in the European Union, they could merely order the Federal Reserve to give every one of us in the United States $1 million in cash. And I think that would show that they actually cared about the people, instead of letting you save like 10 or 12 bucks a week on a payroll tax deduction. It's way too little and way too late. And of course, as I pointed out, the entire purpose behind this is to attack the roots and the financial stability of the Social Security system in the first place. And this is going to happen, and it's going to proceed apace. And after 4 more years of Obama, everything will be about destroyed. If it's not destroyed outright, it will be laid waste to such an extent that it hardly will seem survivable. So, and that's the way I see it. And that's all I got for today. So, good evening.